YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Manu here, aka Mr. See It Before It Happens. And today, fellas, I bring to you another one of the Club Series games. This is gonna be Spotto versus Wesley. Again, you're gonna hear me throughout the commentary. I'm gonna call him Joe Rice a lot. That's just how I'm kind of used to calling him. But Wesley, Joe Rice, same player. Spotto, again, I personally think Spotto is the most underrated player in the world. I think he's easily one of the best players in the world. I think a lot of times he just kind of gets disrespected because of how he handles himself. And personally, I don't always mind the way he handles himself. He's just going to kind of tell it how it is, whether he gets lucky or unlucky. He's just going to say whatever's on his mind, and that's going to rub some people the wrong way. But I think he's a top 5 defensive player in the world. Top 3 coverage adjustments on the fly. Phenomenal defensive player. Again, biggest thing for Spotto is going to be, are the mistakes in offense going to come back to bite him? I think Spotto's a pretty solid offensive player. It's just that he's just going to throw some bad passes throughout the game. And he just needs to throw the ball away more in offense and kind of rely on his defense to win him the game. Wesley on the other side, again, I would say probably the most explosive offensive player in the entire world. He can move up and down the field almost at will at times. But the thing about Wesley is he is going to make mistakes as well on offense. The biggest key for Wesley is his explosive play on offense going to be able to overcome the mistakes? Again, especially when Wesley's under pressure. I do feel like he's kind of prone to mistakes in those situations. But with the way he plays offense, even if he makes a mistake, he gets stopped, he can recover really quickly and go back on the next drive and score 7 right away. Also, another interesting trade-off in this game, I guess, is, again, Spotto's going to make great coverage adjustments usually. But when you're playing Joe Rice or Wesley, you have to play good defense for the entire play. You have to play good defense for 10 seconds, not a lot. Again, 99% of the time, you can just play good defense in those first 3 minutes, or I mean those first 3 seconds, and the play is over. Joe Rice loves those situations. Again, he probably loves to send to, and because he knows that when someone rushes to, it's going to be easy to roll out and make a play. And also, Spotto doesn't blitz so much, and I feel like Wesley is not as good on offense under pressure compared to when he's playing versus coverage defense. Again, it just feels like he can move at will sometimes. So, but Spotto here is actually going to blitz in this first play. Wesley is going to be under pressure, and again, that's exactly what I mean. And Wesley, that's just bad mistake there by Wes. But the thing about Wes is he's going to make his mistakes on offense. Again, he's not always going to make the best decisions under pressure, but he's super explosive on offense. Again, he's going to recover on offense on the next drive. He's going to move down the field pretty quickly on offense. So, again, he's someone that can kind of afford to make these mistakes because of how fast he moves on offense. But the problem is Spotto is also, I think Spotto is a top 5 defensive player. So, again, making that mistake early versus Spotto is a huge play because Spotto is not always going to make the best decisions on offense. So, again, you basically just gave Spotto a free 3 right off the bat. But here, again, Spotto is in the red zone, and this is a really tough spot on the field, honestly. And honestly, I feel like Spotto should be under center, and yeah, he is going to go to under center. It's really tough to run trips inside the 10, and you're going to see this from a lot of the best players because of how difficult it is to score in the red zone. The spaces are so condensed. You're going to see a lot of the best players kind of go under center. They're going to look to run the ball and maybe sneak in a pass play or two, but again, mainly looking to run the ball. You don't want to make these mistakes down here in the red zone. It's really a lot of people will say that when you're playing at the top level of competitive, man, the red zone is the difference in the game. Who's getting the 7s, who's getting the 3s, and who's making the mistakes down in the red zone? Are you forcing those passes down in the red zone? And I like Spotto's decision making down here to kind of just play it a little bit more conservative. Again, you know that you're a great defensive player. You got to stop already. Just kind of run the ball a little bit. See if you can sneak one in. But again, I understand if he wants to sneak in a pass here as well. Getting 7 here versus West would be huge because you know that even though West made a mistake, that he can move down the field really fast. So again, West is someone that you feel like you have to kind of put sevens up first. And that, again, that's a huge play from Spada to go up 7-0. Again, now this is where Spada wants to be. He up 7 without basically up 7 and up basically kind of almost up 2 possessions because he already got a stop as well, and he's up 7. And Spada's, again, one of the best defensive players in the world. Now he can kind of just manage the game on offense. He doesn't have to do too much on offense now. But, again, easier said than done, though, because Wesley can come right back, put it 7 up quickly, and put the pressure right back on you. And, again, if you're Spada, I know that you're more of a coverage adjuster. I think Nick even said on his broadcast that Spada only blitzed on 13% of his plays, which is crazy to me. Again, versus Wesley, I would like to see him blitz a little bit more than he usually does. Because right here, as you see, Wesley already, again, quick first down. Again, another thing to know about Spada, I think his coverage adjustments are top 3. But the problem is Z-Spot is really, really good. And Spada is not running any type of man or any type of match. And as soon as I said that, he runs. Or actually, no. I think he just manned a couple people up, and that's what I mean. Z-Spot is extremely difficult to guard with the way Spada plays defense. Again, you really, if you're adjusting out of the cover 2 or cover 3, if it really feels like you have to triple team the Z-Spot receiver or the slot receiver because he's going to get underneath outside quarters. He's going to get over the top of clouds. So you really need to have a man, like a 25-yard cloud, and a deep half over the top, because if the Z-Spot corner route runs fast, he can still get over a manned-up guy and a 25-yard cloud. So, again, it's really difficult to defend that play with the way Spada kind of plays defense. So I was kind of interested to see how this matchup, how their styles kind of clashed. I was interested to see if Spada would be able to stop Joe Rice's best plays and kind of make him adjust on the fly a little bit. But the thing is, in bunch 2 is you can kind of flip it and quick snap it too. So I think a lot of times that negates Spada's coverage adjustments. So I feel like he wasn't playing as good of defense for his bunch because of that. Again, as you see here, Wes is going to flip it and quick snap it. So Spada's not going to have as much time to set up these exotic coverages that he likes to do. And again, here we go. Again, Wes made a mistake on his first drive, but again, right back on offense, and he's moving down the field really fast. And this is kind of what we come to expect from Joe Rice. Again, I'll always say from watching his games is, he's going to make the mistakes. It's a question of, can his explosive play overcome the mistakes? And a lot of times it can for him. So, again, here, now Joe Rice is going to be in the red zone. And again, you saw Spada get 7 on his first drive in the red zone. Crucial. Let's see what Joe Rice has for red zone offense. Again, I really would like to see Joe Rice come out with have a different formation for the red zone. Again, I understand that you're one of the best bunch players, but again, it's really difficult to consistently move in your main formations down here. And here we go again. Joe Rice is going to take risk on offense. He can move really fast, but again, he is going to make these mistakes. He's going to play a little bit more risky. He's not always going to slide. He's not, always going to take his sacks when he's under pressure, and he could potentially force a mistake if he lets the ball go. So, again, that was huge there for Joe Rice not to fumble. That easily could have been a fumble here. And honestly, I like this from Joe Rice here, 3rd and 3. Again, it's really tough to score in the red zone, so it's good to have these complementary formations down here. So, again, I don't know what this was, but I don't blame him. Sometimes you gotta try some stuff like this. See if they're able to defend it, because again, it's gonna be really tough to score in your main formation now in the red zone. So I get it. Again, back on offense for Spada. Really, the key on offense for Spada is he gonna make the dumb mistakes on offense again? Spada is a solid offensive player. Like he has a pretty good understanding of when to call what plays, and he knows kind of what makes a good offense. The question is going to be the execution. Is Spada gonna, is he gonna throw the dumb pass? that can lose him the game. And you're going to see here, Joe Rice is a pretty underrated defensive player. He's always going to have a pretty good strategy in place on defense. He knows he's someone that he's going to be well aware of the best plays on offense, and he's going to kind of come up with a strategy to defend them. The thing is, like, are you going to be able to figure out? And there it goes, like Spotto, pretty risky passer from Spotto. Spotto is going to throw risky passes on offense. Again, didn't pay for it there, but again, Joe Rice could have fumbled in the red zone on his first drive too, so pretty fair. Yeah, good quick snap there from Spotto. Good mix up. Again, Spotto really just needs to take care of the ball on offense. If you're Spotto, you should be perfectly fine. Like, even if you get stopped, you should be fine just punting the ball away. Just don't throw a pick six. Just don't throw a stupid pass. Give him great field position. With how good Spotto is on defense, he should feel fine. With punting the ball, let him get it at zone 20. But again, I guess it can be a little bit different though versus Joe Rice, because he is going to move the ball really quickly down the field. He is one of the best offensive players. And Joe Rice has kind of emerged too, I feel like, as a trendsetter. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for. I feel like Joe Rice always knows kind of like the best ways to approach bunch, like the best ways to utilize. How should I say it? Yeah, the best ways to kind of utilize bunch, or the best approach to take in bunch. He's going to know the best plays to get deep down the field. And, I feel like a lot of people will say that you just get stuff from other people. I don't always think that's true. I feel like he's kind of been the trendsetter in bunch this year. Again, here, a good mix in from Spotto. These curls. Joe Rice is running a lot of cover one right now, so again, those curls are always going to be really effective. The curls are really effective versus really anything. And again, watching this game, I think I'm the only one who's lost yards in an inside zone all tournament. When I ran inside zone, I went backwards -4 yards. When the defensive line was spread out wide, I never ran inside zone again. And when I watched everyone else play, everyone's inside zone was just fucking perfect blocking. It is what it is. But 3rd and 2, pretty interesting here to be in goal line here. But again, kind of just bad run stick here from Spotto. Well, honestly, he's still in a good position. If you're Spotto, you're really not mad at that. You're gonna go up 7, and Spotto's gonna be getting ball at half. You're one of the best defensive players in the world. This is what you do. This is the position you want to be in. Your offense has done enough for you. Again, now you just gotta kind of hold the door. Do what you do best now on defense. Again, Joe Rice recovered well on that last drive. He moved down the field pretty quickly, but again, he got stopped in the red zone. It's going to be key. Again, you see Spotto there, dials up the pressure again. Didn't really get home though. Joe Rice had that. Again, his quarterback overthrew it on the run. Spotto came down because Joe Rice has playmaker on his lone side receiver, and he expected him to kind of playmaker it back. That's why Spotto kind of ran down with his user there. Again, that was a lot of yards after the catch right there. That was a huge play on just a little out route right there. And again, what you're going to see from Spotto 2 on defense is Spotto's going to run a lot of hybrid coverage. Basically what that is like a mix of man and zone. So Spotto's going to come out in zone, but he's going to man up. He's usually going to man up at least a couple receivers during the play. Again, he's going to bring out some pretty exotic coverages. And honestly, I think that's a great way to play the game, especially versus a lot of the best offensive players, because I think a lot of times, a lot of the best offensive players are known to be the best offensive players because of their reads and because of their execution offense, but they're not always the best at consistently getting people open if you can stop their main plays. And that's something that Spotto does really well, is he's someone that's going to be able to stop your main plays. He's going to make you kind of adjust on the fly. And it can be a little harder versus bunch with the way Spotto plays, is because Spotto's doing all these crazy adjustments. Then on bunch, you can kind of counter it by just kind of flipping and quick snapping. So Spotto might not always be able to get in all the adjustments that he wants. So, here we go again. Joe Rice moving really quickly down the field. Again, great recovery after that first drive. And he's going to go back. Again, this Z-spot route, I think he should have ran this a good bit. Good idea to run this a good bit for Spotto, because Spotto is never really going to run that much man. He's never really going to run him. Spotto's not someone that's really going to run match. Spotto honestly doesn't put much time into the game, so he's not someone that's going to really kind of figure out match. So, again, Spotto's always going to kind of adjust out his own. He's going to play a lot of hybrid coverage. And honestly, Z-spot is really a route that I feel like you have to commit 3 people to. So, I like to see Joe Rice calling a good bit of Z-spot here. And there on that last play, as soon as I said Spotto doesn't really run man, Spotto went to straight up cover 1 with purples. And, he defended the Z-spot route well. The Z-spot didn't run fast. And Joe Rice here is going to go back and attack that same part of the field. And if you're playing someone else, I feel like this wouldn't be a good play call. But versus Spotto, and honestly, again, that probably should have been a pick. Joe Rice, again, Joe Rice is a super risky passer. He's going to risk passes like that could have easily been picked off. If you're Spotto, you're going to be pretty upset right there. But yeah, I don't mind the play call, because Spotto's someone he's going to constantly switch up the defense on a play-to-play basis. Again, most defensive players, they kind of rotate three to four like simple coverages. Spotto, he's gonna go through like 10 or 12 different coverages on defense a game, and he's gonna look to defend different parts of the field, basically every play. And I'm sure Joe Rice was thinking there that West wouldn't go back to attack the same part of the field. So, but here right before half, for Spotto on offense, again, if you're Spotto, just try to get 3. But again, you cannot make a mistake in this situation. And again, I like the zone coverage call from Spotto, because again, when most people see the man line, they're thinking obviously straight up man-to-man coverage. So again, Joe Rice is kind of keeping him off balance on defense here. Spotto's probably cooking up a play for man, and while Joe Rice is in zone, but good play there from Spotto to get out of bounds. So Spotto really even still kind of has a shot at the end zone here. Since he got out of bounds there, he just kind of has to keep working the silence. But honestly, if you're Spotto though, you're getting ball at half. Just really look to get 3 here. Don't try to force nothing too crazy down the field here. Get your 3, and this is the spot you want to be in if you're Spotto. You want to be up 7 with the ball. Again, that was a pretty interesting play there from Spotto. It worked out for him. He had the little hitch and the playmaker drag kind of running in the same area there. And Spotto actually get activated Omaha. And I think Spotto actually struggled. Yeah. So Spotto, when he saw this cover 1, he probably should have done the out and up a little bit more. And what Spotto's saying there too, I get what Spotto's upset because, his guy threw it out of bounds to the wrong spot of the field. I don't know why it's like that in the game, but the intentional grounding is messed up to where you can have a flat on one side of the field, and when you go to throw the ball away, he throws it to the other side of the field. So that's why Spotto was pretty upset there. And again, if you're Spotto, you got to realize that Joe Rice started to do a lot of cover 1, shade up man coverage. So what Spotto really needed to do was motion over like the out and up a little bit more. That out and up is gonna beat the shade up man coverage. Joe Rice did a good job of taking away the best play, which is like PA shot, and then he would kind of run with the out and up himself. Again, really good by Spotto there to stay in bounds. That was a high IQ play. Definitely do not want to go out of bounds there. Makes Joe Rice waste the timeout. Again, if you're Spotto here on offense too, you got to kind of take note on what Joe Rice is doing is Joe Rice, again, is running a lot of this cover 1. Spotto has got a motion over and out and up here in the second half. And again, for most offensive players in the world here, This is the end of half, but for Joe Rice loves these situations. Again, Joe Rice, uh, he's a phenomenal playmaker on offense. Again, he's someone you have to play defense first for really 10 seconds every single play, because he's going to look to roll out and get a broken play, wait for his guys to run back, and that's something he's always been really good at. Again, 14 seconds left, no timeouts. Again, if you're anybody other than Joe Rice, I really think you should take this to half. But again, Joe Rice loves these situations. Again, there he goes. There he goes. There it is. And Joe Rice makes something out of nothing. Again, he's probably better at that than anybody in the world. And again, most players there, they probably just take a sack. They're just kind of looking to throw the ball away. I know I'd probably be looking to, kind of roll backwards there and throw the ball away. Again, Joe Rice, that's something that he's really good at, is making those plays, and really nothing is there for him in offense, and that got him an extra 3 before half. Again, Spotto here back on offense. Again, he's going to have Omaha. And honestly, I really think the Omaha threw Spotto off. As soon as he got Omaha, Spotto's here running inside zone. Like, I don't think he had a positive play when he had Omaha. And sometimes it can, as funny as it sounds, sometimes it can be a little confusing when you have Omaha. Because, shit, you're just not used to seeing your opponent's play. But Spotto really just has to capitalize on seeing Joe Rice's play out here. You see Joe Rice is double mapling on the trip sideline. Again, you got to kind of attack that left. Again, this is just a terrible play from Spotto. Again, you have Omaha, and I don't know that. Again, that's the thing about Spotto is he's gonna make that dumb pass on offense. You gotta roll out, throw the ball away, and Spotto was in such a great position. Again, he's a phenomenal defensive player. And he just has to throw these passes away sometimes when they're not there. And honestly, every time if you see that Joe Rice is in zone coverage man line, the zone coverage man line is going to do a terrible job of guarding that tight end, the tight end corner route from curl flat. That's what Spotto should have gone to. You saw the last time that Joe Rice was in a zone type of defense, Spotto actually ran the tight end corner route. And again, it's going to be really tough to. This guy over the tight end, the outside linebacker, he's not going to be able to defend that tight end corner route from a man-aligned spot. So Spotto should have tried to work around that. And here, Wesley is going to go to more. Again, he's going to be back on that cover one with the purples. Again, Spotto needs to recognize this, and he has to go to more out and ups when he motions over Y. Again, this didn't make sense because Joe Rice has been doing a lot of cover one. No need for the skinny pulse. Like, he just has to. We got to get an out and up going. If you're Joe Rice, I think you should stick with this defense a little bit. Spotto's a solid offensive player, but you got to make Spotto prove that he can kind of figure this out now. Because that wasn't a good play call there from him. He's got to recognize the cover one shell. He's got to run an out and up. And again here, I think Spotto's kind of just going through the motions right now on offense because these play calls really aren't. I guess he could lowball the curl versus cover one hole, and he still has a slant over the middle of the field, but it's going to be kind of easy to where he snapped that slant to kind of lurk between the motion over slant and the curl. But luckily he did have the running back open there. So I think Spotto needs to go to a little bit more X spot as well. Again, that X spot motion over post is going to get underneath, the inside third, as well as, again, the out and up. Again, it's Joe Rice, cover one hole 3 times in a row. And honestly, this was a pretty bad play call from Spottle, but it worked out. The reason I say that is because Joris ran cover one hole with a purple 3 plays in a row. If Joris had ran that same defense again, and you gotta kind of assume that Joris is gonna guard the table route on the next play. The only route that Spottle could have thrown to on that play versus the cover one is that tight end drag, and Joris's user is gonna be all over that. But I think what Joris was trying to do on defense is he tried to keep Spottle off balance a little bit. He's kind of I'm sure he's expecting Spottle to cook up a play for the cover one hole. But again, I think Spottle was really struggling versus it, and again, it's easier to say this in hindsight. But if Joris had stayed in the cover one hole, he probably would have gotten a stop there on that down. But I see why he switched it up there. He's just trying to keep him off balance, so I get it. Again, 3rd and 1, I don't mind this from Spottle. I'm not at this point. I don't remember if you can kick a field goal from the 40, but again, Spottle's one of the best defensive players. Again, I'm sure he's fine being in a tie game. He wants to kind of force a stop on defense. He wants his defense to kind of fuel him. So I think Spottle was just kind of content with just running the ball, and even if he gets stopped, he feels really confident in his defense. Again, right here, if Joe sticks with the cover one hole, I think he made an accident on defense here. That 43 Williams, I believe Joris meant to have him at 25. I think he accidentally put him at 0 because it wouldn't make sense to put a purple at 0 in man coverage. So I believe Joris meant to have him at 25. And again, Spottle really wouldn't have had anyone open if he had him at 25. But here, again, back down in the red zone for Spottle. Again, it would be great to get 7, but you can't force anything down here. Again, you got to remember that great defensive player. You can't put yourself in a position where you're going to be down 3 without the ball. Again, at least tie this game up here, and that's huge for Spottle. That's the second time Spottle got his red zone touchdown. And Spottle right now should feel really confident because this is a position he wants to be in. Again, he's one of the best on defense, so getting that red zone score is huge. Again, back on offense here for Joe. Again, there he goes, 15 yards right away. And Spottle is actually starting to mix in some man-to-man coverage. And really, you kind of have to with how good Z-Spot is. You do not want to leave. You really don't want to leave RB man up unless you want to go and user it. Because if you can really just throw Z-Spot for just about any zone. And again, really, really risky there. And if you're Spottle, you definitely want that fumble right there. Again, Joris, that was a really risky play from Joris. Again, Joris is going to take those risks over the course of the game. It's a question of, are those mistakes going to come back to bite him? Can his explosive play overcome it? And again, he's not really so far. Joris has made a few mistakes this game. He paid for the one in the pick, but Joris has been taking some hits with his quarterback that he hasn't really paid for this game yet. And again, there he goes, 30 yards right after that. Again, as Joris can move down the field quicker than anybody in the world, almost. And again, there's that Z-spot route. Again, I think Joris could have ran this a good portion of the game. Just because, again, Spottle's not going to be running much match coverage. Again, the Z-spot route is going to be really difficult to defend with just straight up coverage adjustments, out of a zone look. So, and there it goes. And what Spottle's doing right now is he's manning up his lone side. Joe Rice is lone side receiver, and he's dropping his free safety into a 0 or 5 yard purple, and that's to defend the playmaker, so Swaddle can go and guard the Z spot route himself. Because Swaddle knows that the Z spot route, that corner route, is going to get underneath all those zones, so he knows that he has to go and use and guard that himself. So I don't know if Joe Rice recognized that, but this is actually a really good play call if Joe Rice did recognize it. But again, just a terrible pass. Again, Swaddle's always been one of the unluckiest players I've ever watched in competitive Madden. I feel like he's consistently a top 3 unlucky player. Like that was just ridiculous. Again, great awareness by Swaddle. Swaddle knew that deep left portion of the field was going to be open. Again, he stayed committed with his user the entire time and got aggressively caught in the end zone. Again, super unfortunate for Swaddle. Again, that should have been a pick. But instead, Joe Rice gets 7 off of that. Again, if you're Swaddle, you got to be sick right now. But, wow. But, yeah, even Joe Rice at this point really shouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to. Joe Rice at this point really should not be surprised, bro. Joe Rice, great player. One of the luckiest players in the world every year. Again, Swaddle. And honestly, Swaddle's been a really unlucky player. So honestly, he should kind of know the drill at this point. So hopefully Swaddle can kind of lock back in and put together an offensive drive. And again, I'm really confused by Joe Rice's defense right now. I think he's making. I would like to think he's making. I thought he was making a mistake on defense. I don't know why he would run man, cover one hole, and put one of his purples on 0. I would like to think that's an accident. He means to have it on 25, and he just forgot. But anyways, and again, I think if you're Wes on defense here too, you got to kind of recognize that Swaddle has really been struggling versus cover one hole this entire game. Swaddle really has not cooked up a play for that. So if you're Wes, you got to recognize that and run that a little bit more on Swaddle. Because every time Joe Rice has gone to zone coverage, Swaddle has dotted it. But when it's been covered one hole, Swaddle has had a lot of trouble here. Again, here, if you're Swaddle, again, I don't really mind this. Again, this looks like it can be good. But again, again, that was just phenomenal run defense by Joe Rice. I wasn't expecting that either. So that's kind of unfortunate. I always say that 4th and inches, I wish they had the old quarterback sneak back where if you're inches short, you could just sneak in and get it. But now it's a lot more complicated to get inches in Madden. So again, I don't mind the run call here. I don't mind one run call here. Just to keep the clock moving, and you might be able to bust a run. So again, worked out there for Joe Rice. Again, I never feel like if you're a passer though, you should run it back-to-back plays, but one run is fine. Again, if you're Joe Rice, you want to snap this at exactly 1 second. So you can get it. Make sure you get it underneath, so that there's only one more play until the 2-minute warning. And again, that's why this Z-spot route is so good. And Swaddle is a phenomenal defensive player. But no matter how good you are on defense, it's really hard to defend that route with just trying to defend it out of straight zone. Because if you saw what Swaddle did there, Swaddle had an outside quarter. He had the guy manned up, and I believe that he might have had somebody zone dropped over there, and that's just how difficult it is to defend the Z-spot corner route. The outside quarters are just awful in this game, so they just don't come close to it. We get a replay here, but I don't know. So he basically had a double team. I know he was manned up. That might have been a zone drop guy. It might have been an outside quarter. I have no clue. But again, it's really tough to defend that Z-spot corner route with just adjusting out of cover 2 or cover 3. And again, good recovery here from Swaddle. Again, I wouldn't even mind if he kicked 3 here right away. Again, if you are gonna not kick 3 here, I would look to take a shot here if you're Swaddle. And again, this Swaddle really struggled all game versus this cover 1 hole. Again, that play call really made no sense. Yeah, like the corner route, the tight end cross, and the motional repulse, all in the same area. I really never had a chance of getting open. Again, if you're Joe Rice, again, you got to recognize this. You got to keep running. You got to keep running cover one hole. Swaddle hasn't shown that he can beat it. So, again, even on this play, if it's cover one hole, the only thing Swaddle really can have is that option around the tight end drag. Again, good play there from Swaddle. And I actually don't mind that play at all there from Swaddle because Joe Rice has been running a lot cover one hole. So, you know that option or the drag is going to get open. I mean, that's fine. But I think Swaddle should have ran more exploit. And again, Joe Rice got unfortunate there. But honestly, Joe Rice has gotten extremely fortunate in this game to even be up 10. So, again, I feel like that was a pretty irrelevant play, honestly. Again, Swaddle feels like he should have been up in this game in a good position. And instead, he's down 7 without the ball right now. So, again, 1st and 10. Again, I don't mind the first down run at all. You know, take a timeout with you. You know, see what you can get. And Swaddle and West was able to get 6 yards here. I feel like on a 2nd and 4, I guess you can kind of run it again here. Again, if you got the 2nd and 9, if you're West, you should definitely pass in this situation. But 2nd and 4, I could see it going either way. Again, West is going to elect to play a little bit more conservative, and that's fine because I believe, or no, that was Swaddle earlier in the game who kind of popped with a power O out of goal line. So, again, here he gets stopped. Again, I think what West is thinking here is he feels pretty good on defense, and you know, as long as he takes Swaddle's timeouts, he's going to give Swaddle 1 minute and like 15 seconds to, you know, drive the length of the field. But honestly, if you're West, again, you're one of the best offensive players. Just close the game out. You know, do what you do best, and you know, don't rely on your defense here. Rely on what you do best. And again, that Z spot where I was going to get wide again, but again, that's it. And really, the key takeaways from this game is, you know, Swaddle consistently is, you know, pretty unfortunate in these tournament games. Honestly, like, you know, he could have stopped him a couple times in the red zone. And again, obviously that ag in the red zone was huge. That should have been a pick. Instead, Joe Rice got 7 off it. So that was those are huge plays in the game. And also, it was really on offense for Wes. You know, he kind of overcame. He overcame that first drive where he made the mistake. And you know, he was able to, you know, kind of move fairly quickly down the field after that. Again, he was just making those mistakes in the red zone that it wasn't really paying for, honestly, this game. But, again, anyways, guys, if you guys like the content, again, I'm going to be doing a lot more of these games, commenting over these games. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'd like to see 50 likes on this video before I upload the next one. But anyways, guys, I'm out. Peace.